Well, it's spring 2023. Darcy and I are headed east looking for trout. Hopefully, large trout. But we don't know where we're going. We're just gonna trust that we'll find some. I know that sounds like a funny plan, but that's what we got. Well, today we're headed north towards John Day, Clyde Holliday State Park, and Magoon Lake, or Magone Lake as some people call it. Maybe a little fishing. Wish us luck.
We always love making a base at Clyde Holliday Campground and appreciating the surroundings there. We found ourselves a spot and got ourselves set up in no time. I looked forward to the familiar wonders at camp that I knew from past trips there. The beautiful, calm John Day River, the camp robins, and even the busy flickers. Deer even made their way into camp across the riverbank. I was used to the John Day River looking like this, right next to the path I loved walking. And these views along the path beckoning me to just get myself a chair and read a book or birdwatch alongside the waters. No matter which way I faced, it was a beautiful sight and perfect relaxation surroundings. But this year, the very spot I was sitting in just last year looks like this now, completely flooded. Waters are high, so high there is cautionary tape here and there for safety. And the walking trails are flooded in parts too, making the peaceful walk a little more exciting. Chris and I managed to tiptoe around the trail and find some wood ducks who were just fine with the extra water this year.
But we still had to find some trout, so we headed into the hills, bound for Magone Lake, and found turkeys. Oh well, it was a start, and we do like turkeys. There were quite a few gobblers in this little wad of birds. Look at them. Well, we headed on further into the hills and found patches of snow. Winter had been here not long ago. Then look at this. 7 months ago, I had been hunting elk in these hills and didn't see a single bull. Now here, he practically climbed in the truck. He's a nice 5-point. Oh well. Oh boy, here's little Magoon Lake. Be a good idea. Relax for a few minutes here. Maybe we can come up with a trout or two. I know there's brookies in here and rainbows. I know that because we've caught them here in the past. Pretty fish.
Nice. Got a Magone rainbow.
No reason we can't get a hold of a couple of pan-sized trout here today. The old dock looks like it always has. Let's go get some breakfast. Yes, sir, I'll get all rigged up here with my secret weapon and see if we can find some of those trout. Shouldn't be a problem.
Big glob of cheese.
Okay.
As you know, it's my favorite fly. Absolute favorite fly.
Well, it's not really cheese, it's power bait. A long time ago in the 60s, we used to fish with Velveeta cheese. And since then, any kind of floating bait has been cheese in my mind. Okay?
We were entertained by this little dipper nearby, definitely earning its name. Wonder what evolutionary purpose that dipping has. still was a pretty day.
It's a beautiful day.
We did not get a single bite. I guess it'll be bacon for breakfast tomorrow. Unless, well, desperate times call for desperate measures. Maybe we'll have to hit our old secret standby spot, Hobbit Pond. I don't know if it has a real name, but that's what we call the little spot we found years ago. You always catch trout in Hobbit Pond. Now there it is, Hobbit Pond. And of course there's no one around.
Well, the gatekeeper for Hobbit Pond appears to be an osprey who was sizing us up to see if we were worthy, I suppose. She was mightily proud of her blue and red bling bling she had as part of her nest, and I guess that gave her some kind of status for claiming this post. She studied us a while and finally gave us permission to proceed to Hobbit Pond. Phew!
Yep, not a soul around. The fishing will be great. Let's get baited up. Okay, out here in the wild wilderness, just hook that night crawler through there, back through there, then take the balloon maker.
Yeah.
Old night crawler won't like this. A puff of air and he'll float like a bubble in a bathtub. Now we'll just have to wait until Mr. Trout comes out and sees our night crawler balloon. And there's a bite. And yep, there he is. Fish on. Heat up the skillet.
Fish on. Got the stink off the whatever, the day. Woohoo! He's pretty.
This one isn't hooked bad, so we'll release him. We'll get plenty more.
Nice. Nice, honey.
It's a nice fish.
It is. Nice rainbow. Whoops. Well, there he goes.
I meant to drop him back in, but he dropped him himself in.
Neat. Good on you. Catch another one. Whoa. Clear to the other side.
Okay, we'll put this on our rod holder here, this convenient blackberry or rose bush. You got one, huh?
Yeah. Little guy.
Now you'll notice Darcy is reeling upside down and backwards here. It's not her idea of giving the fish a fighting chance. No, she recently hurt her shoulder.
Ow, ow, ow.
So she fishes cockeyed to make it hurt less.
Little guy. There he is.
Okay, we'll get a bigger one next time.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the rod holder. Yep, that's a bite. Got him. Hooked in the lip. Back you go. But I'll let him go too. You see, I really am comfortable with bacon for breakfast, truth be known.
Did he get gone? Oh!
That is how you fall in slow motion. No, Hobbit Pond came through for us again, but now we still got to find some big trout. I guess we'll have to head on further east. There's Darcy.
Emptying the garbage.
Headed out with the garbage. We're getting ready to leave Clyde Holliday State Park. We got up early and decided to head towards Idaho. Not to Idaho, but just towards Idaho. And see if we could get into some action over at Bully Creek Reservoir near Vale. We've caught big ones there in the past. I don't know why we couldn't do it again this time. Well, we made it through the high desert country and some low mountains and pulled into Bully Creek Campground in early afternoon. It was as pretty as ever, an oasis of beauty complete with the songs of 1,000 birds.
Not long after setting up, we enjoyed sitting there at camp and watching all of our neighbors.
Very peaceful.
Prairie dogs galore, as curious about us as we were about them. Lots of chirping birds, of course, and quail as well. Did I mention the prairie dogs? Doves cooing are in abundance there. Of course, Chris has to try and talk to some of these animals, and they seem to listen. Except for this guy, who was busy eating, thank you. Well, there's more than just the wildlife here, so we'll tell you what's new at Bully Creek this year.
Though by October of last year, the reservoir had fallen to only 15% of its normal water volume because of the drought, it was now very full. We could see splashing in the shallows. This table in one of the campsites shows just how full the reservoir is. Yeah, there's plenty of water. These fish had to be carp. I wanted to see them up close and confirm that they were indeed carp. Yep, there they are, 2 of them, carp.
Two of them.
And thousands more, it looks like. We know there's lots of carp in the lake. That's not too exciting. And we did talk to a guy that caught a bass and a crappie today. But the big question is, did the trout survive the low water levels and the heat of last summer? Only one way to find out, and that's what we're going to do.
I know Chris is excited to start fishing, but I talked him into a quick coffee break to enjoy the scenery and watch our resident grebe. We even caught sight of a bunny, just sure that we did not see him. Okay, coffee break's over and it's time to fish. Even the geese are ready for us to get started.
What I wondered was, did the trout survive the low warm water of last fall? Are there any trout left in here? I'm not all the way buttoned up.
Not many fishermen are. The true fishermen are not buttoned up.
Huh, that's a terrible thing to say.
So far, no bites.
No. Nope, so far we've seen a lot of carp in the shallows, splashing and flopping around. 5 and 6 pound carp, which are pretty much useless. But we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. We charge ahead.
Oh yeah. Just like geese in the wind. All right. You got something?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Uh-oh.
Maybe you can get a picture of me falling in.
Maybe it's one of them carp.
I don't know what it is. Holy cow!
Whoa!
Look at that!
What is it?
It's a catfish.
Holy cow! You got a catfish. Nobody's catching anything and you just caught a catfish. Wow. Good job, honey.
That'll be a good job if I can let him go. Bully Creek catfish.
Yes, sir. All right. Good job.
Well, it's something.
Yeah. I'll say that's pretty cool. I did not expect that at all.
I don't expect it again.
No.
Now if I just get out of here.
Okay. We'll see if you can do it. Yay! Conquer!
Well, the fishing hasn't been that good. In
Not
fact,
at all.
it's been poor.
Really poor.
So far, we've caught one channel catfish about that long. We've had one bite and caught one fish.
Yep.
And we've retired now. We're done fishing. So what we're going to do, this is really a pretty area. Like we've called it before, it's an oasis.
It is.
And there's birds, there's waterfowl, there's animals, there's all kinds of stuff living in this little park. And to show you, we're going to walk around and see if we can take some pictures of some of them, show you what's here.
See what we can find.
Yeah.
All right.
So wish us luck. We're headed off.
All right, I got my camera. Let's go find some wildlife. Our prairie dog buddy wondered why we had to leave camp to see any more wildlife. And he was mostly correct. Plenty to see at our camp. But I did manage to spot a killdeer near the water. And Chris was able to film some more carp splashing in the shallows. We decided to head on back to camp when we ran into this killdeer, obviously afraid we were going to step on her nest or something. Time for the broken wing act.
Okay. I said we were done here, but I just had to sneak out early in the morning and make a couple of casts. You just got to do stuff like that when you're a fisherman. And guess what? Yep, I actually hooked a fish. Was it a trout? Nope, another catfish. Bigger than the first. This is a 2-pounder. He's not the trout I hoped I'd catch, but at least there's still some kind of fish in here. We'll take him back and put him back. But I really wonder if Bully Creek's trout population suffered badly in the drought. I suppose we'll know later on this year. Well, Bully Creek was a bust. Chickahominy and Man Lake both have water this year, but no trout yet. So maybe we should try Crumbo. Darchris recently put out some videos from our files about Crumbo, but we haven't actually fished there for 5 or 6 years. So maybe we should go give Crumbo a try. Heck, we can't do any worse than what we've been doing. There's got to be some trout somewhere.